Everyone, I'm the Analyst 32. Welcome back. We're going over Boxing Day. Boxing Day has arrived. I will have this video up 2 days so that way you guys can watch it before the matches. We also have a lot of matches on Monday in the Premier League. We also have a huge match on Tuesday against Leicester and Man City. As you can tell, still rocking the pink and white tie. Because I can. Haven't done a video in this location in a while. But hey, you know, when you gotta get videos in, you gotta get videos in and you have to create content. Anyway, to start things off, we have, of the games I want to watch on Boxing Day, I'll give you 3. I'll also put up a list of the matches that are going to be going on Saturday and on Monday. And obviously Tuesday's big match. Already mentioned that. Starting off, in the aftermath of Louis van Gaal's press conference, which really was just a pushing of us media types saying that he needs to be let go simply because they cannot create any offense to save their lives. They have more passes backwards than they do forwards on this season at an extreme margin. When you have talent like Depay and Anthony Martial up front, you would expect to take advantage of those things. But they've even had some weird situations recently where they haven't been playing Schneiderlin. They've been really focused on making sure they play Schweinsteiger, which is interesting to me. As talented as he is, I wouldn't necessarily play him over Schneiderlin in certain situations. Louis van Gaal has just been on the hot seat, apparently. Now, how much of this has actually just been press related? How much of this has pushed upon him by the press? Excuse me. Pushed upon him by the fans, constantly them yelling attack, 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 and nothing happening, and they're just getting tired of the possession-based football, but possession-based football that is taking them nowhere in terms of the ball isn't being pushed forward. I like to use the certain term of, the ball has energy, is a famous basketball quote from Jalen Rose. The basketball has energy. The soccer ball has energy. The more it's passed around, everybody feels like they're getting more involved into the game. However, when you're passing it backwards, you're just providing teams such as the Liverpools of the world right now, the Leicester Cities of the world, be able to press and take advantage of small mistakes in your half of the pitch, and is really not inclusive, or it's really not helping the situation for Manchester United recently. They just lost 2-1 to Norwich, which honestly it was supposed to be a match they were supposed to win, or at least get a draw out of, not lose 2-1. But this week they play this Saturday specifically here on Boxing Day, they play at Stoke City, and Stoke City has come into form recently. The likes of Shaqiri have finally gotten back into the fold. Specifically, before they lost to Crystal Palace, they had a solid result against Sheffield Wednesday in the Capital Cup. They also had a huge win against Manchester City 2-0 at home. And they then drew 0-0 to West Ham, which West Ham right now is still playing really great defense. They just have no offensive attack either because of the losses of Payet, etc. And then they ended up losing to Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace has been a very consistent team this year as well. But playing at Stoke is no joke, and no, I'm not just saying that for the rhyme. Stoke right now, just with the wins, the fact you have to play a lot of balls on the ground, it's difficult. It's a difficult environment to play in, especially for a team like Manchester United, who's not doing a lot and not creating a lot of attacking chances even on the ground. So we'll have to see where that goes. I think I think Shaqiri and company are going to eventually win this match or draw this match. I don't see Manchester United coming out and being an overly attacking side. That's just not in Louis van Gaal's DNA. I highly doubt that will ever be in Louis Van Gaal's DNA at this point. You know, you just don't teach an old dog new tricks. You just don't. Uh, but at the same time, you can't get rid of Louis Van Gaal either. You just can't, because there's really not a lot of good options going forward to replace him. There just isn't until the end of the season at least. Anyway, now that I've ranted on Manchester United for a solid, well, way too long, let's get into a game that's more or less a game I'm really paying attention to. It's Leicester City playing at Liverpool. Liverpool's been having some trouble recently, just simply because, you know, they've lost to Newcastle. They've lost... who'd they lose to last week? Watford. They lost to Watford 3-0. I mean, I know Igalo, I can't pronounce his name. You know, sue me, I'm American. He has 12 goals this season. He had a brace in that match against Liverpool. Liverpool still doesn't have exactly what Klopp wants going forward. He still does not. However, they're still a dangerous attacking side, and especially if you get a Daniel Sturridge healthy, especially if, you know, you get Coutinho on his feet. Now you got Henderson back, and Henderson's their captain. Getting him back was huge. So, at this point, I don't know if Liverpool can win this game because of how high Leicester has been. Mahrez right now, 13 goals and 7 assists. 13 goals and 7 assists. That's the most combined in the Premier League currently, and may still well be by this time next week after their match against Liverpool, and then their home match against Manchester City on Tuesday. So we'll have to see where that goes. I think ultimately Leicester City are going to come out with a draw or a victory here. I don't think Liverpool is going to get a win. I expect to see Mahrez to at least get 1 goal and 1 assist. Those are my predictions on that end. Third match I want to look at here is Chelsea versus Watford. Now, Igalo for Watford, 12 goals on the season. Of the top 4 goal scoring, of the top 4 in goals scored this season, it's Vardy, it's Mahrez, it's Lukaku for Everton, who's on pace to possibly pass Vardy's recent goals in a row in matches of 11 that beat Ruud van Nistelrooy's record that stood for a ridiculously long time and was thought of as untouchable, to be perfectly frank. Igalo's 4. I mean, that's crazy to think of, that Watford has had this good of a goal scorer. You know, it'll be interesting to see because Watford's defense has been pretty solid this year. Chelsea, you know, they're 15th in the table. They haven't been all that great. Do we see the same form that we saw of them against Sunderland? Coming back, which, you know, I like to use a college football reference to this. You never want to play the University of Southern California after they fire a coach. Why? Because they always win that next game. It's looking like it's the same for Chelsea this year. They just fired their manager, and they go out and beat Sunderland because they have to prove, oh, it wasn't our fault. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, Oscar played better last game. Fabregas played better last game. We're finally seeing him come back into form after being really, really poor in the first part of the season, and was one of the first people that Mourinho, before he got fired, sent to the bench. You know, it's one of those things. Is Chelsea going to be better? I honestly couldn't say. I ultimately think Watford's going to win this game. Their defense is too good. Their attacking efficiency has been ridiculous. Anyway, I think Watford wins this. I don't think there's a draw involved. I think Watford wins it 2-0. Kind of comfortably. Let's look at Monday's matchups here. So, we're going back to a Watford game as the first one I'm going to be paying attention to on Monday. Watford plays Tottenham. Harry Kane has found his goal scoring prowess once again. Has been playing really well for Tottenham. Dele Alli has been playing well also. Eriksen has been crucial for them in the middle. You know, Tottenham has only lost 2 matches this year, so that's weird to think about in itself. But are they going to get a few wins put together here? They really haven't had a win in a while. It's been a few matches. They've been pretty consistent on just hitting draws. Tottenham this year has 8 draws and 7 wins on 2 losses. 8 draws is a lot. And Tottenham, though Harry Kane's been playing well, Eriksen's playing well, and Dele Alli's been playing well, ultimately their back 4 and Lloris have been playing spectacularly also. But for instance here, Chelsea drew Tottenham 0-0. West Brom drew Tottenham 1-1. Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-1. Tottenham's been having to deal with playing in the Europa League. I do understand that. Beating FK Karbag, which I'm probably mispronouncing that, I do apologize, and beating Monaco in the Europa League to get themselves into the round of 32, like I mentioned in the past video. And then they ended up beating Southampton last weekend. However, I think if Watford beat Chelsea, Watford will also beat Tottenham or draw with Tottenham. I could see this, I really see it more as a draw. I think this will be a draw of like 2-2. A goal by Harry Kane, probably a goal by Dele Alli. Ighalo will probably get a goal. And there will probably be another goal somewhere in there for Watford. But definitely, this will be a fun matchup to watch, so keep an eye on it. My next match for Monday is Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Now, Arsenal have been on one heck of a run. Arsenal, even with the injuries, I may add, they are only 2 points out of first behind Leicester. Still crazy to think about. Only 2 points behind Leicester. Last week they beat Manchester City 2-1 on Monday, which, a lot of people were thinking, wow, Arsenal, will they beat Manchester City? To be perfectly frank, Manchester City was getting some of their players back. And normally this is a game that Arsenal would lose. This would be a match that Arsenal would in fact lose, but they beat Manchester City 2-1. Now, this matchup here, they play Southampton on Saturday. They'll probably get away with that and either draw or win. But against Bournemouth have been giant killers, beating Chelsea and Manchester United and drawing with Everton in one of the craziest goal-scoring matches you will ever see. Definitely rewatch those highlights if you haven't already. I think the Cherries win this game. I don't know. They just have this feeling right now that they can do no wrong. And I think they'll end up winning this. So, in the third game, on Monday, we have Chelsea versus Manchester United. Like I've mentioned, Manchester United, Louis van Gaal, he needs to get a win out of this weekend. He needs to at least get one win out of this weekend, to say the least. And really, Chelsea need the win as well to get themselves out of the relegation battle. Ultimately, I think Manchester United does get a win here. I think it's 1-0, 2-0, goal by Martial, possibly a goal by Depay, and it will calm the storm for Manchester United for a little bit, even with a loss on the weekend or draw on the weekend to Stoke City. And then looking at Tuesday, Leicester City, Manchester City. Huge matchup at the top of the Premier League table. Now, Manchester City, they're playing well. You got the likes of David Silva starting to get back into his full fitness. You have, we might see some Sergio Aguero here. He's been in and out of the lineup. We might see him in this matchup. And the likes of Sterling and De Bruyne will be key parts to this. In some aspects, on paper, Leicester should be outmanned. However, Leicester has proven that it doesn't really matter what it is on paper, that they're outmanned or not. I think Mahrez will play well. I think Vardy will play well. And a lot like their match against Manchester City where Vardy broke the record, I think Vardy will get a goal. I think Mahrez will get an assist. Now I think this will end up in a draw, probably in the 2-2 range. Anyway, enough of my rambling. You guys probably think I've been talking for way too long. Another American talking about soccer, but hey, I enjoy it. I love it. And thank you for the views you guys do provide. This is, once again, been coverage of Boxing Day, also of Monday's matches, and the Tuesday headlining match of Leicester City, Manchester City. You can follow me on Twitter at TheAnalyst32. You can like this video. You can subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more of this content, and I will also have some more videos coming out with this as well. Thank you for watching, thank you for being you, and I will see you guys on the other side of the pitch. Have a great Boxing Day and a Happy New Year going forward.